Firewatch is a game that came out in 2016, developed by the team at Campo Santo. This game is prettier than like 90% of the games that have ever come out after it. The art style, the writing, the character development, plotline, the OST, which I do regularly listen to, all leave next to nothing left to be desired. This game is a beautiful masterpiece that I've been in love with since it first came out, and I haven't seen the plotline for the story in a long time, so I forgot majority of the stuff that happens in the game, so I really wanted to experience it with you guys. So yeah, with all that being said, my name is Raiden and I hope you enjoy. So the game starts off giving a little backstory to the main character, which you play as named Henry, a 39-year-old man who has decided to take a job that he saw advertised in the paper. So the game opens with a bunch of text on the screen, just giving a little exposition about the backstory of why Henry has decided to take this job before we get to the actual part of the game where you are doing the Firewatch. It opens with you in a bar drinking with your buddies when you spot a woman across the bar named Julia. Drunkenly, you decide to go over and introduce yourself. The two of you hit it off and you eventually start dating. Eventually, after the years pass, you end up getting married. You get a pet dog, and you even discuss the possibility of children, and life seems to be great so far. All this exposition is being shown to you with little breaks if you hike into your watchtower where you will be staying in for the summer for your job. Eventually, Julia gets her dream job and moves across the country to do it. And with this, we are introduced to the first dialogue option choice, because there's a lot of these in the game. You can either convince her not to take the job, or you can tell her that she should do it. I chose the option of having her take her dream job. While she's there, she flips out on a coworker because she thinks that this person stole some of her textbooks that are absolutely vital to her research. She forgets that she actually had just harmlessly lent those textbooks to her a couple of days ago. It is discovered that the reason she ended up forgetting this is because she has early onset dementia at the age of 41. Dementia typically doesn't affect the person until they are in their mid-60s or older. As she continues to get worse, you get to choose to put her in a nursing home with her family back in Australia, or to be selfish and care for her all on your lonesome. I chose to send her to be with her family. You visit her often and she is starting to forget you more and more. Her condition is getting worse and she's starting to barely even recognize you. Henry gets guilty and thinks Julia is forgetting him because he is visiting her less, which if you know how dementia works, you know that is simply just not the case. Henry ends up taking the job in the paper, which puts us to where we start the game. After the long hike, you end up making it to the tower where we are introduced to our other main character, Delilah.
I'm Delilah.
She greets us by making a joke that just ends up hitting a little too close to home.
So, what's wrong with you?
Excuse me? What's wrong with you?
That's a great idea. Go ahead. You take a stab at what's wrong with me.
You've killed 3 husbands. You're a black widow and you're just out here until the heat dies down and then you'll kill again.
Very good. Bravo, Henry. Now you. But maybe you just really like trees. Maybe it's... Gosh, maybe it's a borderline fetish. A tree fetish.
Gross.
Good night.
Good night. Welcome to the job.
After your long hike, you sleep for quite literally 14 hours.
What, 14 hours of sleep?
14?
Yeah.
Right as soon as you wake up, you are immediately given a task. Someone is setting off fireworks and you are told to go stop them, as it is highly illegal and can lead to major forest fires. But yeah, so now that I have a moment to like speak, you can tell, dude, like see just how cozy this is, and your entire job is basically you sit here and you watch. Well, I mean, who would have guessed it? The game is called Firewatch. But you sit here and then you look out, you watch for fires. I sound so pompous saying that. But yeah, but it's more than that, because you have to like report smoke, and obviously you see these kids, they're most likely kids down here doing fireworks. You got to go down and be like, yo, cut that out, you know? Then you report wind speeds and you report the temperatures and all that. And they're really going with those fireworks. On your way there, you need to scale down the side of a really steep slope. The rope you are using ends up breaking and you fall about 20 feet down the slope. Oh my goodness. You decide to name the slope Widowmaker. When you find out who was setting off the fireworks, it ends up just being a couple of girls who are actually, for some reason, skinny dipping. And you tell them to stop lighting the fireworks. They end up calling you a creep because they think you're just trying to watch 2 girls skinny dip, and then both of you move on with your evenings. That's so... Oh my gosh. Explain yourself! Dude, just... It's so simple. It's so simple. Just say, yo, I'm part of the Firewatch. I'm stationed literally like a mile from here, bro. Y'all can't be setting off fireworks. It's illegal. Delilah, I don't need to speak to you right now.
I hope they drown.
I'm telling you, bro, all I had to do was go, yo, I'm part of the Firewatch. This is a real fire hazard, you setting off these fireworks. My entire job is to make sure forest fires don't break out in this area. Stop setting off fireworks or else I'm going to have to call authorities. It is that, I'm already getting worked up. Dude, oh! Whatever. Forget about those stupid teenagers. I do hope they drown. On your way back to your watchtower, you end up getting spooked by a person who is shining their light at you. You tell Delilah, and this is what she says.
Wait, he's looking at you? Is he doing anything else?
I dare you say there's a murderer, bro.
So
That's totally in her
Henry,
character.
there's something
Oh my gosh.
something someone should have told you about this area. It's outside.
come on.
The whole thing. And people come and go as they please. It's madness.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Look, bumping into someone in the middle of nowhere is part of the fun.
Dude, she's really funny, bro. Honestly, a major charm of this game is Delilah and her witty responses. She and Henry's chemistry is just extremely funny and very enjoyable to listen to throughout the entire game. I constantly found myself reporting everything to Delilah because I wanted to hear what they had to say.
Hey, I'm out at a ravine. What's this thing that spans across it?
That is how you get to my sector. Well, it's locked up and mainly for emergencies. I've never actually used it.
Help! Oh God, it's an emergency!
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got eyes on a tornado. I gotta get out of here.
A tornado in the heart of the Rockies?
Yes.
Holy moly, I need to call this in. Tom, Two Forks sees a tornado. He says he needs an evac into my sector. It's a meteorological impossibility. There haven't been tornadoes in the greater Yellowstone region in 100 million years. You're gonna need him to stay and take a detailed personal account, even if it means giving his life. Okay, I'll tell him.
There was even a point where there was just claw marks on a tree, which was clearly just from a bear sharpening their claws. But I reported it anyways because I wanted to just hear what they had to say. The character building in this 2.5-hour game is a million times better than anything the stupid Star Wars Acolyte show tried to shove down our throats. But anyways, the man spooks Henry and we just end up continuing back to the tower. Just before that though, you find a cave which is locked off by the Firewatch due to it being a safety hazard, and the keys have for some reason mysteriously disappeared. Delilah doesn't know where they are and no one can seem to find them, so you just use that as a shortcut and make it back to your station. Come on, man, stop. Don't. We can't do that anymore. Not with. Get this man on a podcast. Upon reaching your station, you find out that someone has broken in. They wrecked the whole place and broke Henry's window. They seem to have literally no motive though. All they did was throw some stuff around and nearly break his typewriter by throwing it off a ledge. There was literally no motive, no reasoning behind it, no note, no nothing left. It was just kind of like somebody broke in, threw stuff around, didn't steal anything. It didn't make much sense. Next morning, there was a very big storm that just was raging throughout the night. So Delilah tells us that the phone lines are out and we need to go check it out because it's right near our station. She thinks that they are out due to the storm having like knocked down one of the phone lines or something. She can't talk to anyone she needs to outside of the radio that she uses only to talk to us. She calls us Hank.
Thanks, Hank.
You sussy baka.
It's Henry.
What, you don't like Hank?
No, I don't like Hank.
But thanks rhymes with Hank.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, alright.
Bro, Delilah reminds me of my friend Danny, bro. That's exactly something he would have said. You continue your task to find what happened to the telephone towers, and you see that the lines have been deliberately cut. It was not taken out by the storm. On our hike out after finding the telephone towers, we found a backpack from someone named Brian Goodwin. Delilah tells us that this is the child of Ned Goodwin, a person who used to work in Henry's tower. You aren't supposed to bring children up there. The only person who's supposed to be at the tower is the person who took the job. So Ned brought his kid, Brian, there and wasn't supposed to. Delilah wasn't a stickler for rules and actually ended up taking a liking to Brian Goodwin, but apparently they left in quite the rush and were never heard from again. You see smoke in the distance and go to check it out. You follow it and see a campfire that has your sheets there with a ripped up tent. A note is left from two girls pretty much calling you a stalker and saying you are creepy for following them and destroying their campsite, which obviously you didn't do. The next day, there is some nice character development where Delilah tries to draw you from your own description of yourself, something that reminds Henry of Julia because she was quite the artist. And that same night, you actually have a dream where you were talking to Julia through the radio. Fast forward to a week from now, and we find out that those two girls that Henry saw setting off the fireworks have actually gone missing. No one has seen them in over a week, which lines up perfectly to the last time that Henry has seen them. It gives you a dialogue option to either tell Delilah to tell the cops that Henry has seen them or not. I chose the option to have Delilah tell the cops so they could come see Henry for questioning, something that never ends up happening. We get a massive jump to day 64 where there is actually a major fire going right in front of Henry's watchtower. There is no explanation to how it started, but it is directly in front of Henry's watchtower. Delilah mentions that there is some sort of beauty in fires at the nighttime.
I love how they look at night. During the day, it's just smoke, but when the sun is down, you can just
It is very
get
pretty.
lost.
During this, you learn that Delilah is much closer than she is with pretty much any of the other people who have worked in this tower before him.
Glad you're here.
Me too.
I don't talk to the other lookouts as much as I talk to you. Not in the same way.
Whether that is because there is an attraction between the two characters, who knows? But they say some pretty sweet dialogue and shows their friendship has already come pretty far.
I know it's probably been a while since you've connected with someone the way we have. I don't mean to get all heavy, but it's been really nice.
I swear if she dies at the
I wish
end,
I
I'm
was over
gonna
there.
cry. Despite the fact that they have not seen one another even a single time. Nothing too bad as Henry is married, but it proves that he has come out here to find a way to get away from the messiness caused from his wife's dementia. There's really just some light flirting and nothing really too harmful.
I wish you were too.
We could sit outside. We could talk without these radios. We could, you know,
What could we do?
well, let me tell you.
We get another fast forward to day 76, where Henry decides to go fishing. When he reaches the lake, he finds a clipboard that has some writing on it. He sees that someone has been logging every single conversation between Delilah and Henry. Someone has been listening in on their entire friendship. They've written dialogue down such as, "I don't talk to other lookouts as much as I talk to you. Not in the same way." During your brief investigation, you see a radio on the floor. You pick it up and immediately get knocked unconscious by someone behind you. During this part, I have a very riveting reaction. Holy shoot, I just got hit. Oh my goodness. Wow, very insightful. When you finally wake up, you tell Delilah. She's skeptical at first, but you tell her that before you got knocked out, you saw something on the back of the radio that said Wapiti Station, which Delilah tells you might be Wapiti Meadow, an area just north of your watchtower. So you decide to go check it out. So, I gotta be honest, for this part, I was very, very stupid and searched for how to get to Wapiti Meadow for 30 minutes. Let me show you the path that I decided to take. So yeah, as you can see, I started all the way down here. I decided to go all the way up here to this area right here. I went to a fence that you run into earlier in the game, thinking that Henry would just climb it. There's the fence. Woo, 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 woo. Just climb that hoe. Yep, I could tell. Thank you, game. I don't understand. What am I missing? Wait, can I not just climb it? Wait, am I dumb? Was I not supposed to come back to the fence? Was I supposed to go to Jonesy Lake and then around to Wapiti Meadow? But instead, like an idiot, I came back to the fence? Yes, I was, and yes, I did. This was the correct path. So I was supposed to cut all the way through this canyon and then find a path up here to this gate right here. I went all the way around before I realized that I was going the wrong way. Took me 30 minutes to figure this out. But I got it nonetheless. Dude, I went all the way around. All the way around I went. And it's literally just all I had to do was go over here. I cannot believe that. I wasted so much time. Oh my gosh. It is literally just right up the canyon stream. Not even a 3-minute walk. But when I finally reach it, there's a gate that is locked. So you need to find something to break the lock. Why he couldn't just climb the fence, I don't know. There literally isn't anything stopping him from doing so. There's no barbed wire at the top or anything like that. So it should be very easy. If you've ever climbed a chain link fence before, you would know how easy it is. I don't know. Maybe he was just worried about ripping his clothing or something. Even though he hasn't seen anybody else outside of the first day. So he could literally walk around completely naked in his sector and no one would even know. But hey, you do you, man. Anyways, Delilah mentions that there are some firemen nearby working on a controlled fire, and she suggests that you might go there and see if they can help. But once you get there, you find out that the place is abandoned. The only thing left is a note from their supposed boss saying some cryptic stuff about Wapiti Station. Delilah mentions that this is a research station that she was completely unaware of, which, with her being the boss, she shouldn't be unaware of. No one should be setting anything like this up without her approval. It is unclear what they are researching, but it seems like they're both trying to research both Henry and Delilah, which is the dialogue option that I chose. You have to cross a broken bridge to get there, so you are stuck momentarily. You need to find a fire axe, cut down a tree, and then get back to your watchtower. On your way back, you were talking to Delilah about possibilities of what might be going on when this happens.
Where are you right now?
Just on my way back, in and out of trees in the middle of nowhere.
Do you see anybody?
No, definitely not.
All right. So, tell me what you think of this. Did you just cough?
No. Did you just cough?
No.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck.
There isn't any way someone, like another lookout, could be on this line, is there?
No. not without tapping our radios. Get in your tower, shut the door. Don't leave, and don't use your radio. I'll call you. Understand? I will call you.
Damn, bro. This just got real. The next day, Delilah seems very chipper and upbeat, and she decides to get you to go to Cottonwood Creek in an actually pretty genius way, and I'll just play that for you.
I was wondering if your Flora of the Shoshone info poster was still up inside your tower?
Yes.
What?
Just, have a look at it. Make sure it's in ship shape.
Okay, yeah, it's up. Why are you acting like this?
Great. Just wonderful. Do you see the tree in the top row, second from the left?
Sure. It's the,
No. You don't need to tell me. Just, internalize it. It's a great tree. And there's an area called, that tree's name in your sector that maybe you should take a midday hike to. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe I should go for a hike.
Nothing like an afternoon in the Rockies, I tell ya. Radio me the moment you get there.
When you make it there, she has you open a cash box that has a new untapped radio in it. We decide that it is time to go check out this Wapiti station. You hike there and open it with your fire axe that we used earlier. Upon entering the area, you find some really high tech that is clearly being used to track their conversations. This stuff is clearly not cheap, making it appear like the whole station is extremely legit. You find a tent that the people have been using for their research. When you go inside, you find a wave signal, which can be used to track anything that emits a signal. You also find full reports on both subjects, which are Henry and Delilah, and they have been following Henry around, plotting his most visited areas, as well as the usual paths that he uses to take his hikes. They've been recording everything that both Delilah and Henry have been saying to one another, and even plotted down how easy each person would be to manipulate, with Henry coming out at a whopping 9 out of 10, and Delilah being at only a 3. They wrote stuff down about Julia, stuff that Henry had not even told Delilah about, which freaks Henry out because he believes that whoever these people are know much more than what Henry has been letting on. They even wrote stuff about Delilah's ex-boyfriend Javier, which she never even told Henry about. In their panic, they both say that they should just burn the entire station down.
I'm so sick of letting these people do this to us. We should just burn the place down.
Maybe that's what they want us to do.
What do you mean?
Maybe they're trying to push us to the point where we do something crazy. The grass is dry as hell here. It would go up in a second.
But they ultimately agree that that is a horrible idea and decide against it. When you get back to your tower, you see that the entire station actually did end up getting burnt down by somebody else. So now there are 2 fires raging in your area. Henry is not very good at his job, is he? He has been there for a little over 2 months and already 2 fires and his own sector alone have broken out. I'm surprised that he hasn't been fired by this point. I guess Delilah just really has a thing for him, but whatever. Next day, Delilah is deciding to get drunk.
Are you drunk?
No! I am getting drunk.
Hey, Dee, I don't want to harsh your vibe, but maybe, just maybe, that's a bad idea.
Henry.
What?
You're harshing my vibe.
But Henry's new signal reader is doing just that, reading a signal, so he decides to go check it out. It leads to an alarm box attached to a tree that has a bag in front of it. I'm going to be totally honest, man. This jump scared the hell out of me because I thought the alarm box was a bomb.
What?
I thought this was a bomb, dude. I thought I was about to blow up. I legit thought I was about to blow up. Anyways, you find a set of keys that are the old cave keys. You are on your way back to the watchtower when this happens.
The fire has them spooked, and we have new walkie-talkies, so we have the upper hand.
Yeah, well, it's hard to feel like you have the upper hand when you're standing in the dark in the middle of the woods.
Oh. Well, you're back in your tower. Maybe you need a drink, too.
I'm not in my tower.
I am looking at a man standing in your lookout. And it's not you.
It is not me.
Oh my god, go.
I'm going.
Oh, I'm going back to the lookout? When you get back to your watchtower, you see that the person who was up there left a recording on your door that says this. Talk to me, bro. So the fire that started at Wapiti Station, which had nothing to do with Henry or Delilah, now seems like it was their fault. It seems like Henry was the one who burned down the place while Delilah came up with the idea. So someone is now trying to frame them for arson, which is a very big deal given the fact that their entire job is to prevent fires. And now they seem like that they have started one. So it's the next day, and this part is pretty weird to me. So somebody was clearly trying to go get you to find the cave keys, otherwise they wouldn't have put an alarm there that would have had the signal reader track it, right? So somebody was trying to get you to get the cave keys. But I guess Henry is not the most forward-thinking person, and he doesn't think that this might be a trap, and he just goes into the cave with no second thoughts whatsoever. Like, I know he's trying to find answers, but come on, like, whoever is doing this clearly wants you to go inside the cave. Why would there be any evidence towards your case inside of this cave? It just doesn't make sense. So he goes in, and big surprise, he gets locked in the cave. Who would have thought? So when you make it in, yeah, somebody closes the door behind you. You end up getting locked in, and you have to make your way out of the cave by a completely different exit. So once you make it out of the cave, you end up finding an old setup from Brian Goodwin. He created this really cute area that he liked to stay in. He drew pictures, and he just chilled out. He kind of made it like this little castle area he drew on the wall, making it a little like cute, his own little cute watchtower. It was really adorable. But he also had some old climbing gear where you could basically hammer something into a rock so that you can then make it further down into an area which you previously could not. So this allows you to go further into the cave. When you reach the bottom of the cave, this is what you find. No way. It's gonna be the kid.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. You're Brian Goodwin.
Oh, I knew it.
You fell.
Oh my gosh. That's freaking heartbreaking. So I guess not telling anyone about Brian Goodwin didn't end up being a very good idea, did it, Delilah? So you hiked back and get to your watchtower because due to the fire spreading, you are getting escorted out of the area the next day. The site fire as well as the other fire that I mentioned previously have merged into one mess that is supposedly only 2% contained. So they pretty much just have to leave. It is actually really cool. The entire time you're playing after the fire has erupted, the area is getting progressively more and more smoky around your entire sector. It is actually, I just said sector like the Mortal Kombat character rather than sector. Around your sector, sorry. But yeah, it's actually a really cool attention to detail. This game is really good with little attention to details like that. So that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with this game. But anyways, after you get all packed up to leave, your wave signal starts going off. It leads to a cassette tape and a rope with Henry's name written on a rock pointing upwards towards the top of a really steep hill. I'm just gonna let the tape play in its entirety so that you can get the full picture of what this has been leading up to.
Yeah, hi, Henry. Hey, you better find this before it burns up. We've been causing each other a lot of headaches. Now I gotta go stake out a site that's as fit for living as the one you're about to find. You'll get it when you see it. You can't blame me for keeping an eye on you. Not after bumping into you back in May. Down by the cave, for fuck's sake. I've been up here for 3 years. I kept it cozy. Winters are harsh as hell, and I ran out of books. But I got that antenna rigged up, and Delilah, she's a record you don't gotta flip. I kinda get why Brian took to her. About a week ago, I stopped worrying about you finding anything out, and that's right when everything went shithouse with you two. You guys don't know anything about having kids. All right, nobody knows nothing. It ain't Andy and Opie walking down the lake to fish every afternoon. It ain't Mayberry. But you gotta know I didn't kill him. All right, we were climbing. I was teaching him. Brian was uneducated in the way to do anything. He just fucking didn't sink his anchor the right way. You know, I thought about going back, having to answer questions, and having to get him put in the ground, and I didn't see the point. Don't come looking for me. Sorry about your wife.
Damn, bro. So the entire thing was fake. It was all just to get Henry off of Ned's case about his dead son. Ned thought that this whole time, Henry knew about the death of Brian and wanted to just keep Henry off of him. There was no secret research station monitoring Delilah and Henry. All of Wapiti Station was set up by Ned Goodwin. Everything was made to look so professional by him. It is further proven by the fact that you see Ned writing out the so-called research papers on Henry and Delilah. There's a copy that he made a mistake on, and he trails off in his writing, and he has to restart. Everything was planned by Ned Goodwin, and Henry explains all this to Delilah. Which means that now they are cleared. Ned is not actually trying to frame him for the fire or anything else that happened while Henry was here. He did all of this out of paranoia that Brian's dead body would get found, and people would think that Ned Goodwin murdered him. So, at the very end of the game, Delilah gets escorted from her lookout, and Henry needs to make his way to her lookout because that is where the evac point is. And they have one final conversation before the game ends.
Hello? Is anybody there?
Hi. Yeah, it's me. I'm back at the staging area near the trailhead. I think I see your truck.
Red? Colorado plates?
Yeah. It's a piece of shit.
Well, yeah.
I think there might be a raccoon living in it.
Make sure he's comfy, I guess.
Hey, it shouldn't take long for the helicopter to reach you.
Okay.
There's a debrief in a situation like this. Lots of questions.
Shit. So, taking stock, we found out an old lookout killed his only son and decided to become a lonely hermit.
Yes.
And we prevented one fire?
Basically started another.
Okay, so that's a wash.
Oh, I'll have to figure out what I'm doing every summer from now on that isn't this.
You're not coming back?
No. And you'll have to... I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know what's next.
Tell you what, why don't you choose for me and I'll choose for you?
All right, sure. Maybe you could come back to Boulder with me and figure it out down there. Just a thought.
You don't want me down there.
Well, I just asked you.
Look, I've got some things to do in Casper, and maybe I'll head south sometime after that. I could come by, sure.
Okay. So, what about me?
I think you should go to Julia, and then you can figure it out. Maybe put that typewriter to good use. Give me a sexy accent or something if you write about this.
I am. Yeah.
You gotta go see her.
Yeah, sure.
Henry, Look, you came out to put your memories behind you, and they're still right there in front of you.
She won't even recognize me, Delilah.
You're not just going for her.
You don't know what it's like.
Bad things happen, okay? And you have to find a way to contain the damage. A good way.
Well, hopefully I can figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, I hope so.
God, this got dark.
Oh shit. Sorry.
There's the helicopter.
Good. They'll land back where you hiked up. Good luck, Henry.
I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah, sure thing. Bye, Henry.
This is one of my favorite games of all time. If you haven't played it for yourself, I heavily recommend it. The chemistry between Henry and Delilah is ridiculously good, and you can see their friendship building throughout the entire game. They get so close that Henry just starts calling Delilah D. Saying the art style is beautiful is just straight up an understatement. The story keeps you on the edge for the entire time. It is much more than just a simple Firewatch simulator. I found myself wanting to hear every single thing that Delilah would say because the two characters interacting was never boring or underwhelming. Delilah was funny. It immediately starts by pulling you in with the exposition about Julia and ends in such a way that just keeps you thinking. If a game ends where you are constantly thinking about what's next, I think it is truly something special. And this is the type of game that needs to end in this sort of way, because if you end up neatly wrapping up their relationship, it will just leave the player with nothing more to be desired. This game does not need a sequel because a sequel would simply just suck. I think a major thing that makes this ending so great is the fact that you simply just don't know what was next, and you never will know, and I think that is perfect. If everything gets so neatly wrapped up and like tied with a cute little bow on the end of it, it's not good. It's not necessary for everything to be neatly wrapped up. There was clearly some sort of attraction between the two characters, which I think is okay because Henry is going through something. His wife doesn't even remember him anymore. He's not cheating. He is simply just looking for somebody to fill the gap that unfortunately his wife has left open. And I think that's okay because he's in a situation where he's hurting and he needs somebody to help him out. But yeah, that is the entire game of Firewatch, this is just a job that I have always wanted my entire life. It is truly one that I enjoy, and if you haven't played it, you should definitely go play it for yourself, because there is not a single moment in it where you're just like bored and not trying to listen to whatever they have to say. It is truly just a fantastic game. But yeah, thank you for watching this far into the video. Bye.